See, what is exception? Okay. What is exception? What is exception? Now, exception is your unwanted, unexpected event. Okay, means you don't know. Okay, and you can have an exception. Means I'm using scanner. Okay, I'm using scanner. I'm taking two integer values x and y. So if I'm running this, so what you are saying, it is asking for the numbers. It is asking for the numbers, like please enter two numbers. Okay, ji, I'm giving two numbers, 4 and so I'll give 4 and 4. It will give me 1. This correct? Okay, ji. Okay, now. So now let me rerun this program. I'm asking for the number again. Okay, I'm saying 4 and 0. Now it will give me exception. And this is called an automatic exception. 1 second. Okay, now. Okay, this is your rare chance. Like user can enter anything, but there is a 1% chance that user can also enter 0. Okay, there is a 1% chance, and that 0 will give you an exception. Means if a number, okay, if any number is divisible, if you are dividing that number by 0, it will give you an exception, which is your arithmetic exception. Okay, ji. So it is a 0% chance, like 1% chance that a user is entering a 0. Okay, in that case, you will get this exception, but this is a exception. Okay, so what is exception? Exception is the unwanted or unexpected event which will disturb your whole flow of the program. Now let's see. Now let's see. Okay, this is a line. Okay, this is a line, and I am writing 100 line here. I'm having lot of code. Okay, suppose I'm having more code. I'm having H1. Okay, this is my code. Okay, so this is a code. But now if I will run this, my program is break. If I will write 4 plus 4, it will run fine. Okay, my work is great. Okay, but now what if I will say 4 and 0? See, my whole program is crashed. These lines are not running. My program is crashed. So what is exception? Exception is an unwanted or unexpected event, okay, which will occur during an execution of program. It is occurring in an execution of program, which will break the flow of the program, which will break normal flow of the program. Okay. So if anybody asks what is an exception, exception is an unwanted or unexpected event. You don't know when your exception can occur. Getting it? You don't know. But if your exception is getting occurred, your whole flow will be break. Getting it? So basically how exception is getting generated. Okay, how this message is getting printed. What is the reason? Okay, how you are getting this. So by default, there are 4 ways how you can handle your exception. Okay, first is default throw, DEFAULT, default throw, THROWT, and default catch. Second is default throw, R catch, and R catch. Third is R throw and default catch. Fourth is R throw and R catch. Got it? These are the only 4 ways in which exceptions are getting. Right now, what you are doing? JVM is coming and he is trying to execute your program. So first line he will say, okay, you are taking a scanner. Second line, third line. Second line, he will ask for the input. You have given 4. Third line, you have given 0. Okay. Now you are dividing. At this moment, that program will throw an exception. Okay, it is thrown. by default. Okay, now you will have default catch. Means now what JVM will see, JVM will see whether you are handling this exception or not. Okay, whether you are handling this exception or not. So you are handling this exception? No, you are not handling this exception. So what he will do, he will say, okay, they are not handling the exception, let me handle it. So what he will do, he will catch the exception. Okay, he will catch the exception. Means default throw, default catch. JVM is throwing the exception and JVM is only catching the exception. Okay, he's throwing the exception. He's saying just at this moment, your exception is getting generated. Now he will search whether you have handled the exception or not. Now you have not handled the exception. So he will handle the exception by himself. Okay. Now this is called your default throw, default catch. Okay. So what JVM is doing? JVM is saying, yeah, I will handle my exception by myself and I will print this message. Okay, he is saying exception in main thread. Okay, in main, you are having exception. Which exception? Automatic exception. What is the reason? Reason is by 0. Okay, at which line? This line. Okay, so this is your how JVM is handling the exception. Okay, now basically we have three. See how we are having the exception. So the parent of every exception class is throwable. THR, TH, THOW, THR, throwable class. Okay, this is the parent of all the exceptions. Okay, and what is the parent of throwable? Object class. As I already, I always tell you, object is the parent of every class. Okay, and throwable is a child of object. Now in throwable, you have two things: error and exceptions. Error and exception. Now, what is the difference between exception and error? Error are a different thing. Error are occurred while the lag of system. Okay, the lag of system or the programmer is not maintaining the PC or some kind of that issue which you cannot resolve. But what is exception? Exception is like it will come because of programmer. Okay, like if you are doing some kind of mistake. Okay, it is occurred because of the programmer. Okay, and in throwable you can handle it. Oh, sorry. Exception can be handled. Okay, it can be recoverable. Exception are recoverable. It can be handled, but error cannot be handled. Okay. So these are the only difference I will tell you. Don't worry. Right now, I think you are not getting it. So we will discuss it later. Now, till now, any doubt in this topic? In exception? Any doubt? The basic information in theory part.
Can you explain overthrow and default catch again, please?
See, default throw, default catch. Okay, this is only
Overthrow. Yeah.
No, I have not explained. No, overthrow or catch. We will do that also. Because I am only explaining you one thing right now, which is default throw, default catch. Means how you are getting this exception. Okay. So what you are doing, you are taking a scanner class, you are taking input. Okay. Now JVM is running second line, which is x is equals to string.nextInt. Means you are taking integer value and you are storing it in a console. In X, you are using a console, you are taking an integer value and you are storing in X. And another value you are storing in Y. Okay, so X in X you are having 4 and in Y you are having 0. So what you are doing, you are dividing it. Okay, X divided by 0. And in Java, if you divide any number by 0, it will throw an exception, which is arithmetic exception. Okay, arithmetic exception. Now the JVM is saying, okay, yeah, you are throwing an exception. It is throwing an exception. This code is having an exception. So he will throw an exception. This is arithmetic exception. Now he will see whether you are handling that exception or not. Okay, you are catching that exception or not. Right now, I'm not catching that exception. So what he will do, he will say, yeah, you are not catching the exception. Let me catch it. Okay, so what he will do, he will catch the exception by himself. Okay, so how he will catch? He will catch it like this. Okay, so this is called default throw, default catch. Means JVM is only throwing the exception and he is only catching the exception. And what he is doing, he is printing the method, okay, which is called stack trace. I will tell you this is okay, and he is saying that exception is happening in main. Okay, what is that? Which type of exception? Arithmetic exception. Okay, how I'm getting because of 0 by divided by 0. Okay, at this line you are getting the exception. Okay, so he will tell you everything. So this is how JVM is telling. But he will break the code. He will break the flow.
Basically, GVM itself is throwing the exception and then he's catching it by printing the message.
Correct.
That's what it is, right?
Correct. So this is called a default through default catch. Okay.
Yeah. So you said some stack. What was that?
That is a method. Print stack trace. Okay, it is in throwable
Sorry?
class. Print stack trace. Okay. This is a. I will tell you. Don't worry. We will do this. Okay. So I will tell you how this message is getting printed. How JVM is printing this message. This is what I will tell you. Don't worry. So first of all, I'm giving the basic introduction. Then we will start. Okay. Now everyone is clear with the errors, exceptions, how we get exception, what are exception. Everyone is clear with these things. These are the things when, like in interviews, people ask.
Yeah, Rajesh. I understand about like exception and all JVM will handle. So when we will do any program, after we got exception, then we need to add try catch throw, or before that, if we feel that there could be chances of any exception other than this arithmetic, any runtime exception. So once we get it, we need to add this code into our program, or in each program we need to make a habit of writing this exception.
No, I will tell you where to use and when to use. Don't worry.
Okay.
So the difference between error and exception, can you just tell that again?
Errors are like you are not doing this. This is error. Okay, you are not doing this. This is error. Okay, this is error. Okay, in simple words. Okay,
Yes,
plus
too many errors.
okay, plus what is errors? Errors are that also, which is in a lag of PC. Okay, there are errors like your system, your RAM is not working. Okay, your Eclipse is not working. This is not because of programmer. This is because of the PC. Your RAM is not working. Your Eclipse is not responding. So this is not because of you. So this is your error. What is exception? This is exception, which is done by the programmers. Okay, I have given 0. I have written the code, and in my code exception is getting generated. Getting it? And I can handle this exception. I will tell you how to handle this. Okay, but error you cannot handle. Like your Eclipse is not responding, but you will restart it. Okay, you cannot handle it. Okay, it's a default, it's a system call. Okay, it will always be runtime. I will tell you what is runtime. Now let me tell you the program, and let me show you if I will have the chart also. Okay, this is the chart. Now see this. Throwable. Throwable is a parent of the error and exception class. Okay, and what is the parent of throwable? Object class. No doubt. Everyone, as I have already told you, if anybody asks what is a parent of exception or anything, object class. Object class is a parent of all the classes. Okay, now let's see. Throwable. Throwable has two child, exception and error. Error, as I have told you, Stack Overflow error. Okay, virtual machine error, out of memory error. Okay, these are the errors which we don't know. We cannot handle them, but exception we can. Okay, so exception are also two types, checked and unchecked exception, or you can say compile time and runtime exception. Okay, now what is your compile time and runtime exception, or you can say checked or unchecked exception. Now see, many people get confused. If you will ask, and many people like me also, when people ask me like before, okay, when they are like, what is the difference between checked and unchecked or compile time runtime? So majorly people say compile time exceptions are those exceptions which occur at compile time. Runtime exceptions are those exceptions which occur at runtime. But no, this is not a correct answer. Okay, every exception occur at runtime only. Okay, now what is the difference then? What is a compile time and runtime exception? Now let me tell you an example. Let me give you one example, then you will understand. Okay, suppose
Writing a code and
Hmm?
no, so I'm just talking to myself. Sorry. I forgot to mute myself.
oh, no problem. See. Now see. So now see, checked and unchecked. Okay, now see. So checked exception. Now let me give you one example. Suppose you are going to office. Okay, you are going to office now. You are packing the lunch and everything. You are ready to go, and you are going. Now suddenly your mom is coming outside the house, and she's saying that, "Excuse me, you forgot your lunch. If you will not take this lunch, you will be hungry. Okay, you will not get a food to eat." Okay, she know that you can have this problem if you will not take the lunch. Okay, second time. She's coming again and she's saying you are forgetting your ID card. Okay, if you will not take your ID card with you, you cannot enter in office. Okay, she know the problem. Okay, she know, you know. If you will not take that lunch, you will be hungry. If you will not take that ID card, you will not get inside the office. You know this. Okay, you know this. Means you have to handle it. Okay, it is by to take precautions. You know that if you are not taking that ID card, you will get an exception. Okay, you will get an error. You will not be able to go inside the office. Okay, this is called your checked exception, which you already know that can occur. Which you already know that can occur. That is a checked exception. Okay, means you are not, if you forgot to take a lunch box, your mom will come out and she will say, take this lunch with you, otherwise you will be hungry. Take this ID card, otherwise you will not enter into office. So that is a checked exception. You already know that if you will not do that, okay, if you will not handle that, you will get an exception. Okay, you can get an exception. Now second, this is your compile time. Now what is run time? Run time. Now you are going to office with a bike. Okay, you are driving and you are going. Now suddenly you have a puncture in your wheel. Okay, or puncture or fuel empty, or fuel is empty. Okay, or you have an accident. So it is an unexpected event. You don't know, na? This can happen. You don't know. It is by default. Okay, by luck. You are not having the good luck. You had an accident. So, or your puncture, your fuel is empty. So that is an unexpected event. That is a runtime exception. Okay, which you don't know, but it can occur. Okay, 1% chance. Getting it? You don't know, and that can occur. Okay, so this is your runtime exception. Okay, got it, everyone? Example.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, now see. Now, similarly with the JVM. Okay, now you are JVM now. Okay, so there are two types of compile time, runtime. Compile time, in compile time, there are IO exception, means input output exception when you are using file. Okay, so JVM, no, you know, suppose you are finding a file in a D drive. It is a possibility, na, like file doesn't exist and you are searching for the file. It is a possibility. So this will come in a checked exception. Okay, because it can be possible that your file is not present in that particular drive. Checked exception. You are forgetting the lunch. Okay, so you will handle it. Okay, JVM will not pass it. Otherwise, you have to handle it. Okay, or you have to give the warning. Okay, but what is runtime? Arithmetic exception. There is a 1% chance that user can enter 0. You can divide any number by 0. 1% chance. Okay, you don't know that can occur. That is a runtime exception. Getting it or not what I'm saying? So these are the things. Okay, checked and unchecked exceptions. Okay, guys. Okay, if you're not getting it, you can let me know. Okay. Now how to handle it. Okay. Now you know what is exception, what is the exceptions, how to handle it now. So I have already told you default throw, default catch. JVM is throwing, JVM is only catching it. Now what we will do, the next thing, which is our default throw, means JVM will throw, but I will catch. I will catch. I don't want to break this code. I don't want to break this code. I want to handle it. Okay, I want to handle it. So how will I handle it? Okay, so there are two ways, try catch and throws. Okay, how to handle your exception? We have two ways, try catch and throws. So first of all, let's do try catch. Okay, I have another link on. Okay, 10:50. Okay, guys. So